Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, as per the time whenever you are watching this wonderful video. So today I'm going to discuss about business with government authorities, some of the GST issues that we normally have while working with the government authorities, some doubts, some clarifications that are most often sought for. So this is exclusively made for Karnataka State Chartered Accountants Association, and I am Arup Dasgupta. I'm from Kolkata, West Bengal, and I am basically an indirect tax professional with deep interest in litigations, management, advisory, and coordination with the different stakeholders like the government, the trade bodies, the professionals, okay, and also the decision makers to make GST a great and smooth tax. Okay, so I've also authored on a few articles on key topics related to taxation, which are available on some of the leading online sites, and I'm also authoring a book which is going to be published very soon. I'm a speaker at different forums when most of the attendees are students, young professionals, seasoned tax professionals, whether they are chartered accountants, CMAs, or advocates, or company secretaries. And I've also been a part of the sessions that are being delivered at different institutes of the C Institute, the CS Institutes, and the CM Institute. And I've also had the privilege of rendering training and having exchange of ideas with government officers and trade and industry bodies. So, with this brief introduction of mine, I would like to delve into the today's topic. And so, what is today's topic? It's about the government authorities. So, why is government authorities required to be discussed separately? Because there is a doubt in the trade and industry that whenever I am actually making a supply to a government authority, okay, and who are deducting the TDS from me, so whether the supply should be shown in B2B or B2C. And also there are a few doubts regarding the TDS that needs to be deducted, or I mean the TDS that is deducted by the government authorities, and whether they have to be accepted, and if there are some errors and all, how do we go about it? So the first thing that we are going to discuss is who is liable for registration as tax deductor under GST. So as per section 51 of the CGST Act, a department or establishment of the central government or state government or a local authority or government agencies or an authority or a board or any other body set up by an act of parliament or state legislature or established by the government with 51% or more participation by way of equity or control to carry out any function, okay, or a society established by the central government or the state government or a local authority under the Societies Registration Act, and C, the public sector undertakings, they are liable to be registered as tax deductors under the GST Act. So, what is the difference between a tax deductor and a regular assessee under the GST? A regular assessee is one who has a GST registration number or a GST registration for carrying out outward supplies. But a tax deductor registration is essentially for only deducting taxes on the inward supplies received by them. Okay, so who is the tax deductor? The one who deducts tax at the prescribed rate from the payment made or credited to the supplier of taxable goods or services or both. And a regular assessee would be, or a regular taxpayer would be one who is paying tax on the outward supplies. Okay, so the first question that comes to our mind is acceptance of the TDS received shown in the portal. So what do we need to do for it? Because this is one of the common queries that we receive in the different social media platforms as to how do we do it for the newcomers and for the uninitiated people who are doing it for the first time. So it's just that you need to go to services and the dashboard, and you need to go to TDS and TCS dashboard. From there you get this particular sheet which is written as trade TDS credit received. So wherein you have all the details of the TDS that are deducted by the uh, recipients to whom you have made the outward supplies. Okay, so when you see this TDS, what you need to do is you need to either accept the amount or reject it. And when are you going to accept it? When the TDS amount, the GST and tax payable amount, all these are actually tallying with whatever is there in your books. Okay. And at that very moment, when you accept the TDS, then it flows, the TDS amount flows to your electronic cash ledger, from which you can make the payment of your taxes. So whatever TDS is deducted, it is as good as, like getting the making the payment through the your electronic cash ledger. So the next thing is that what if somebody has shown a wrong TDS amount? So this is also a situation which we have found with some of our clients, wherein suppose I'm not supposed to get a TDS from a particular government vendor, but what has happened is that the government agency, okay, they have deducted the TDS from they have deducted the TDS from some other vendor, and they have uploaded the TDS details with my GST. Right? So there are two kinds of errors that can happen. One is they have shown a wrong GST, and that does not belong to me, but it is coming in my GST dashboard. Second mistake is that they have shown a wrong TDS amount, they have shown a wrong taxable amount, or they have shown a wrong bill, whatever may be the situation. So in all these situations, what we can do is we can always reject it and request the deductor to kindly amend the TDS return in the next month, so that the correct GST details, the correct uh, taxable amount details, or the correct tax amount is reflected in your TDS account. Okay, so in case it does not belong to you, then please reject the TDS amount and communicate. Yeah, this is another important thing that we are facing recently, that we should also communicate through the GSTN communication channel with the deductor, telling him clearly that, sir, this does not belong to me, or sir, here there is a mistake in the taxable amount. Kindly rectify this taxable amount from this to this, or the tax amount from this to this. Okay, and why are we going to do this communication through the official communication channel on the GST portal, apart from the mail communication that we do directly with the government agency? Is that this will have an audit trail later on, wherein if something goes wrong, if there is a notice being issued or there is some inquiry going on, we can always say that we have already stated this particular fact to the deductor, saying that there was a mistake out here. The next question that we have often is that what if I have wrongly accepted a TDS? So what is this wrong acceptance of TDS? It is the TDS does not belong to me. Okay. So my GSTN is a particular number, but the deductor has wrongly shown a TDS amount in my GSTN. And my GST professional who is handling my GST, maybe he or she did not notice that that particular invoice was not raised by me to that particular government vendor. But since on a month-on-month basis, I do have TDS deducted from my government clients, they have by mistake accepted the TDS. So in this case, what would be the option? Can I go back to the TDS deductor and tell him to amend the TDS return? No. So what you can do is that you can just apply for a refund under the head others. Why? Because this, when you accept the TDS, wrong TDS, it flows into your electronic cash ledger. Then what you can do is that you can just apply for a refund under the head others, or the others would be the best head, or even some people they are also claiming under excess payment of tax also. But in case of excess payment of tax, in some cases there is a doubt being raised that where is the excess payment done by you? It's the wrong TDS that you accepted. So it's better to go for the head others. And when you're giving this ground as others, please do submit adequate evidence to show, like the bank statements, that you've not received this amount. Okay, or better still is that obtain a declaration from the deductor saying that yes, this amount was wrongly shown in this GSTN. This amount actually belongs to this GSTN, and so we have wrongly uploaded this with this particular GSTN, and so the refund may kindly be allowed to the particular assessee. So once you get the refund, then you may refund the same to the deductor who had by mistake shown it in your GSTN. So this is one of the common queries that we are getting, because we often see this thing happening, that the wrong TDS is accepted somewhere either because of rush or because of the ignorance. Because normally the TDS, they are accepted, after a certain time. The returns are not filed by the 7th, or filed afterwards. So while filing your GST 3B, normally you accept this TDS, and so at that very moment you don't do a reconciliation with the GST 1 or your invoice list, and so this problem sometimes happens. So what would be a way to avoid this is ideally to just avoid this having it, just not having this particular thing in place only, and checking it properly, and then doing the acceptance of the TDS. What do I need to show in the GSTR1? In many cases, what you need to show is that we need to show it in the B2P. Why? Because they are having a valid GSTN, though the GSTN is under the category of TDS deductor. The only thing is that since they have a GSTN, so it needs to be shown under business to business, which is B2B. In case you have filed it under B2C, for the financial year 21-22, you can always make the amendment. Okay, so what has happened here? We have to always show it under B2B sales. So you give the GST number, all the details are auto-populated as is populated for other B2B sales, and then you just file your B2B details just like you do it, and then you file the return, GSTR1, and the details are auto-populated. Okay, so what is the mistake that we are getting in most of the in many cases that they are wrongly shown under the B2CS details, because most of them are interstate supplies. If it's a interstate supply, then it may go to the B2CL also, where it's above 2.5 lakhs. But since it's mostly intrastate in many cases, we have seen they are wrongly shown under B2CS. So what do we need to do? First, we need to amend it in B2CS. So we go to that particular month and we just change that B2CS amount to zero. If you don't have any other B2CS amount, we are reducing it to B2CS. If you have other B2CS amount genuinely which are under falling under B2CS, who are not tax deductor, nor do they have GST and registration number otherwise. So in that case, what we can do is whatever amount is wrongly shown under B2C towards sub invoice raised on a supplier, raised on a recipient, on a government recipient who has a GSTN as a tax deductor, in that case, only that amount has to be deducted. So if my total B2CS amount is say 10 lakhs, but out of that only 3 lakhs belongs to a government who has a GST, and I'll reduce 10 lakhs, from 10 lakhs I'll reduce 3 lakhs and show 7 lakhs here, and 3 lakhs I'll transfer to B2P. So that is the second step that we do. Here we make the entry under the B2B sale in the current month with the actual invoice date, and we just show, as I've just shared, we show the correct GSTN, and we show it properly there. And then whatever amendments are be coming in, this will be auto-populated properly, and then the amount will be reflected properly in the B2B sales. So thank you very much to Karnataka State Chartered Accountants Association for this wonderful opportunity. Thanks for your time for watching this video, and thanks to Ananda, my team member, for preparing this PPT. And there's a disclaimer that this is purely for knowledge sharing and as of information and law available as on 22nd October to me. So this doesn't have any legal validity. So do vet it by an expert if you need to follow this. Thank you very much and have a wonderful time.